Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our Saturday edition of State of the Yankees. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So much to cover, and so little time. I realize it's off season. You have up until February to cover, but this is the first weekend of postseason, and with that, the buzz is around, and everyone's chattering. All the free agents, who's going where. Well, before we get into all of that, let's start with our final wrap up of the World Series. Yes, I realize it was last Sunday. I realize it's over. It's been all week long, but I filmed last week before Game 5. I had predicted that the Red Sox were going to close it out in Game 5, and they did. Okay, right, recap done. Just kidding. As a good sport, congratulations, Red Sox, on winning the World Series. However, as a Yankees fan, I would not at all be disappointed or upset, or I wouldn't mind one bit if they won another 86-year drought. That'd be perfectly okay by me. Do I see it happening? No, but one can hope. Okay, so now that we've recapped the World Series in my brief opening there, let's talk free agents. There are over 100 free agents on the market, 10 of which are from the Yankees alone. Now, most of these free agents are just going to go back to the original teams. Therefore, most of them are just not worth covering, because we can discuss them in competitive balance in the off-season, in spring training, and next year if you like, but all the free agents that are going back to National League teams are just not worth my time. No disrespect to National League fans, Phillies fans, Milwaukee fans, whomever's out there who takes interest in the Yankees State of the Union, but fundamentally, National League players that go back to National League teams, I'm just not that invested in. So, before we get started on the top free agents on the market that could go anywhere, and the Yankees free agents that we should re-sign and keep them next year, let's talk about the elephants in the room. This is the off-season of off seasons. Why? Because we have one of the biggest names in the game on free agent this year. This is the year that the Yankees have been hammering budget to get under the salary cap so they can just go crazy. I would say 8 beat, but my daughter's sleeping. Don't want to wake her. Don't want her to learn this language. In the event, the one name that has been in the news for the last couple of years, how everyone's gunning for this guy, is the elephant in the room. And I'd love to hear whether or not you want him, whether you don't want him. I'm going to give you my take on him first and foremost before we get into everybody else. That player, Bryce Harper of the Washington Nationals, hits the free agency this year. And because the Nationals had the opportunity to sign him to extension and they declined to do so, that means they don't want him back. And why don't they want him back? Let's take a look at that. He is not exactly a Gold Glove outfielder. Is he above average? Possibly. He'll make his share of highlight reels, but fundamentally, in a 162-game season, if you don't have an outfielder that does make a highlight reel, he better not be making much money, and he is certainly a nobody in my book. But this guy is like the biggest name on free agent this year, so he's not exactly a Gold Glove caliber player. He's not exactly a Silver Slugger. Is he above average? Will he give somebody a boost in a lineup? No questions asked. Definitely an advantage. However, I would have probably been more of an advocate of Harper on the Yankees if it wasn't for their midseason acquisition of Giancarlo Stanton, who, by the way, was the MVP of the National League, and he also hit the most home runs in his season, I believe, last year, before we acquired him. So, I mean, if you want to boost your lineup, Stanton's your guy. Plus the fact that you gotta keep in mind, both Stanton from the Miami Marlins and Bryce Harper from the Washington Nationals are both National League hitters. When a National League hitter moves to the American League, they're gonna go through a year or two of adjustment because you're dealing with an entirely different league of pitchers. Pitchers that, for the vast majority of them, stay in their league, which means he's never seen them before this year. Why would he have? Sure, there's interleague series games, but that's a very, very small sample size compared to being in the league all year long and playing your rivals 19 times each, and the rest of your conference so many more times in the National League. You get 45 games all told against National League teams in the American League, and of that you're seeing a given team 3 times or 6 times, depending on the case. There's just a very small sample size of pitchers from the opposite league. Therefore, you're going to go through an adjustment when you're changing leagues. We've already seen Stanton's drop in numbers, almost half, I believe, of last year, because he's getting used to the American League. Having been said that, I do believe Stanton's numbers will improve next year. Will it get up to the same that it was before we acquired him? It's hard to say. I think that he had kind of a prime year right before we acquired him. But he'll still be a top-notch offensive hitter for you. And with him in your outfield, you don't need Bryce Harper. On top of which, we already have a $300 million payroll with Stanton going on there. What's the value? What is Bryce giving you that's worth $300 million that you don't already have with Stanton, with your Judge, with your other hitters, your Labor Torres, your Gary Sanchez, your Andujar, we have so much potential in our lineup now that I can't justify spending $400 million on one hitter who's going to spend a year or two getting up to speed with the opposing league. I hear that the Phillies are interested in him. Let them have him. Go ahead. Now, I'm surprised to hear myself say that, because for the last couple of years I kept on saying, wait till Harper's available. Wait till Harper's available. We need Harper. He'll turn our lineup around. Well, now that we got Stanton, we just don't need him. Where the Yankees' weaknesses are is a starting rotation that was glaring throughout the season and killer in the postseason. If you're going to dump $300 million on free agents, let's get a couple of starting pitchers who are worth it. You know, let's firm up our rotation. Let's get our own Clayton Kershaw and Chris Sale and Dallas Keuchel and all these other starting pitchers who can be lights out. Let's build a rotation of 5 Cy Young Award winners. Let's have that 1998 rotation where we can single-handedly win a game on pitching alone. I mean, granted, 1998 Yankees also killed us as a desperation where they always found a way to get on base, always found a way to move runners around. And so even if you didn't have necessarily a lot of power hitters, you won games both on pitching depth, pitching strength, and a win-at-all-cost lineup that's just going to do everything possible. There are people who are going to get upset if they don't get that single in the bottom of the ninth that brings a runner over. They're not necessarily need a home run. They want to do everything they can to win that game, regardless of what it takes. Whether it's taking a sac fly, taking a walk, taking a chance at a stolen base, whatever it is you need to do to put pressure on the pitcher to make his one error of the game that breaks the game open, kind of thing. You want players who are sold out to your team and are bought into winning. I mean, that's one of the things I loved about Nick Swisher. He might not have been a Gold Glove player, and he might not have been a Silver Slugger player, but he bought into what the Yankees were trying to do, and he did everything in his ability to help them win every single game. And that's one thing I loved about your Jeter, about your I just named him too. I just had blank. Anyway. The other elephant in the room is Manny Machado. Now, I realize that he is an above-average hitter. I realize he's going to give you 35 home runs this season. But here's the issue I have with him, and I realize the media is pressing upon overlook the fact that he was a postseason showboat. I am. the fundamental factor is just because he did that in the postseason this season doesn't mean he isn't a showboat. Period. In an interview he had with during the postseason run, he said, "This is who I am. I am a showboat. I am going to flip my bat. I'm going to act flashy. I'm going to be pompous. I'm going to be who I'm going to be." And I'm thinking, I don't need another Jason Giambi. I don't need another flash in the pants. I am all that, and you need to love me because of who I am. I don't want another massive ego on our lineup that's going to give us above average but not superstar numbers. I fundamentally don't feel he's a good fit for our team. I know Aaron Judge would look good in Yankees pinstripes. I get that because you want the numbers, you want the wins, but you can't chase wins. You gotta chase the people with whom are going to come into your clubhouse with the right attitude and with the right lack of ego. You don't want somebody who's going to come in and say, "I am the SHIT, bow down to me and when I don't produce, oh, it's not my fault when I do produce, praise me," kind of thing. I don't want a massive ego like that. I want somebody who's coming in to do whatever possible to win the game. And that's one of the things I really liked about Zach Britton and David Robertson. When asked about the fact that they would not be closing for the Yankees, they both said, "I don't care where I pitch. I just want to help the team win." Whether or not they believe that or versus just sound bites, I don't know. But I loved the mentality of it all. So I just don't want Bryce Harper or Manny Machado. We don't need the Machado's attitude and lack of hustle, lack of passion. We don't need Bryce Harper's contract. So having said that, let's cover real quickly some of Yankees free agents. J. Happ, Dave Robertson, CC Sabathia, Lance Lynn, Zach Britton, Andrew McCutchen, Andy Achivia, I mispronounced that so badly, I'm sorry. Neil Walker, Shane Robertson, and George Contos. Now, of those, I like J. Happ. He's a solid middle rotation guy. He's going to give you plenty of wins. And if I realize he had a stellar second half for us, I do not expect that by a long shot in a full season with us. But I do think he will give you solid middle to back end of the rotation help to give you enough wins to get you the postseason. Having said that, CC Sabathia is a workhorse. He'll eat up innings, but I don't want him. He's so old, and he can't. And when you go to the postseason, he's not going to make it past 4 innings. He needs to just ride off in the sunset and retire. The Yankees, if he's interested in playing, the Yankees are definitely going to re-sign him and definitely going to give him another year. There's no question. His history with us, his ability over the years, he's earned that. I get that, and I won't fault him for doing that. But from an objective standpoint, it's time for CC to ride off into the sunset and enjoy retirement. Okay? Next guy, David Robertson. I'm a big fan of Robertson. I think he's a great pitcher. I don't think he's necessarily the right fit for a closer, but for a 7th or 8th inning guy, please, no questions asked. Bring him back. Zach Britton, he was a above average closer for the Orioles, but I wasn't overly impressed with him when he was pitching in New York for us. We have a loaded bullpen as it is. They might bring him back, but honestly, I wouldn't miss him if they didn't. I think he would be better fit someplace else. I don't mind facing him every once in a while as an opponent, but I don't think we need him in our bullpen this year. He's an above average free relief pitcher. He'll definitely help you from time to time, but he's also shown when he was pitching for New York down the stretch and in the postseason that he can be hit. He is vulnerable. And as much as he loves the thrill of competing on this stage, can he do it reliably? I gotta tell you, every time I saw him come up, I got nervous. I really did. I'm like, I know this guy's a closer. I know he has the stuff. But is he going to produce, or is he going to make it really scary for us? And fundamentally, I just don't trust him. I think if you put him in a critical spot, he's going to make it really interesting and really tough to win the game, to close out the game. Next I have Andrew McCutcheon. He's an above average outfielder, but I always was rather skeptical about him because he's a gold glove pitcher or outfielder from the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's also an above average outfielder in general. But we have a crowded outfielder with lots of talent in the minor leagues ready to come up. I would not be against having him. I just don't feel we need him. He can go help somebody else this year, as far as I'm concerned. Neil Walker is phenomenal utility man. You can play him anywhere. He can get clutch hits. He can get on base. He's not your necessarily an all-star player. He's not going to shine above the rest, but he's going to give you exactly what you need and when you need it. He's an excellent utility player that when you need a pinch hit, when you need a spot start, he's somebody I'm very comfortable with having in our lineup. Shane Robertson and George Contos, average players. They need some development. I'd be okay with it if they kept him, but I'd be just as okay if they didn't. Honestly, those are some pieces that can help us, but are not going to make a significant impact in any lineup. They're good to have. They're decent players, but they're not impact players. So those are the Yankees free agents. I would definitely keep your David Robertson and your J.A. Happ. The rest of them, keep them, dump them. I don't care either way. They don't make the hairs stand up my arms. They don't make my eyes wide open or anything like that. They don't excite me. So there's my rundown of those players. Lance Lynn is in a group there where he's a decent middle of the rotation guy, but keep him, dump him. I'm kind of okay with either way. I really am. So, here's my wish list for the off season here. I would absolutely love to get Andrew Miller back. We got him from the Red Sox and we traded him to Cleveland to get some high quality free agents that we absolutely needed. And now that he's a free agent, I want him back. Go get Andrew Miller. Give him Chapman money if you need to. I mean, this is a guy who is already proven to be an excellent in the Bronx, and I want him in my bullpen. Now, because starting rotation is the most important thing for the Yankees this offseason, a couple of pitchers that I feel that they should pursue are Charlie Morton, Dallas Keuchel, and Patrick Corbin. Patrick Corbin, I don't really know much of because he comes from Arizona, and I really don't follow the National League all that much, but because every source I've seen about top free agents mentioned Patrick Corbin, his numbers must be pretty good. So I'd be fine with giving him a shake. But from the American League standpoint, where you don't have to learn all new hitters and everything, I realize that we're going to have to compete with the Houston Astros over Charlie Morton and especially Dallas Keuchel. I would love to see us lock them up, but objectively, because they are so stellar and Houston's already had them for some time, especially Dallas, I think that they're going to throw whatever they need to at them to keep them. And honestly, I don't fault them because I'm doing the same thing if they were Yankees players. But those are the other two players I would most like to see with the Yankees given our free agent options. So that's kind of my quick rundown of the top 10 free agents on the market, the elephant in the room, World Series cap, and the Yankees free agents. There's so much more to cover, but this is only the first postseason video. So, thank you for watching. I want to know what you think about what I think. Please leave your comments in the section below. And until next time, have a great day. Enjoy your weekend.